NG forward. Thompson with the header. Well, that's nicely done by Ashford. It's a clever player, Ashford, and he's worked it well. Colwill to clip it in. Robinson going up and could have done better. A player who has a marvellous record against Chelsea. 5 goals in his previous 3 appearances against them.
Well, they work it well here, don't they? Chelsea called out 2v1. Harto can't stop this attack. It's a decent clip in, just a touch too high for Robinson.
I was actually at the game when he scored twice for West Brom in a 5-2 win at Stamford Bridge back in 2021. I may have played into the manager's thinking tonight with Salek, who's had to play a lot of football recently, only on the bench. Lawler. And then in goes Caicedo. His first challenge of the night.
Won't be his last, but it's a test for those Cardiff midfielders up against one of the best midfielders in the world in Caicedo. One of the more physical ones as well.
John Colwill, the younger brother of Ruben Colwill, which seems incredible to say that considering Ruben Colwill was a teenager playing for Wales not that long ago. Chambers. Ruben incidentally injured at the moment. Joel in the team tonight. Chambers. There's Lawler. Turns 20 in January, Lawler. Ashford. Colwill. Until you can see already they're aside, happy in possession. Chambers trying to find a bit of room here. Bagan sends in a cross. It's definitely been one of Cardiff's standout players this season, one of the league's standout players this season, the left back.
Yeah, just feel that Cardiff are settling into the task now. Seeing plenty of the ball and seeing it in Chelsea's half. Got the winner, didn't he, Bagan, at the weekend?
Yes, the Irishman who put in a good delivery from that side as well. We've just seen one. Here's Lawler. Wintle. And Lawler. Young centre-back, touted for big things. Chambers. Gonna sweep it in there. It's going to drop to Guiu. George. Champon. Tosin. Tosin again. Gittens. Well, it's what really stood out in his time at Dortmund was his dribbling skills. Chelsea just haven't quite seen the best of him yet, although in recent games he's looked a lot more promising, and they've gone short with that corner. And Badiashile, of all people, with the effort over the bar.
Well, I don't know if that was a set piece rehearsed, but it was a good one. There's a couple, 3 on the edge there, and certainly Badiashile was one of them, but not a great job testing the keeper.
Interesting marking going on there, Alan. Sorry to interrupt you. Chambers. To make the run forward and use Bagan. Turnbull, from a Celtic man. G. Wintle. Lawler. Comfortable on the ball. A teenager. NG. G encouraged to go forward there. Ashford. Wintle. NG. And in all likelihood, expect Cardiff to have more of the ball by the end of this game. Fascinating thing to say, really, for a League One side, but that's just the way they play. And then the challenge from a Champong referee, happy for play to carry on. And Jorgensen, in the end, holding the shot.
Well, it was patient football, but it also had an end result. And Cardiff playing with a nice bit of a swagger here. Good confidence, taking the game to Chelsea. Really did move the ball well from right to left. It's a decent enough shot.
And Davis back to his feet, still moving gingerly after that challenge from a Champong. Buonanotte going in. Maybe a little bit of frustration here from Chelsea. Watching Cardiff dominate the ball. Wintle wanted to take that free kick, and Buonanotte is being told by the referee he got one more opportunity.
Well, if you were trying to book him, you'd have just kicked the ball against him. You see it so often.
Yeah, Wintle missed out there. Lawler. G back to goalkeeper Nathan Trott. He'll get involved in the build-up as well. Chambers. Collective holding of breath there. Robinson couldn't look after it. Caicedo to Guiu. George, across it goes. Guiu had played it to him, so nobody was there.
Yeah, he's done his job, hasn't he? George whipped it across the face of goal, and then you're just expecting somebody to take a chance, get across their marker. Guiu's just hanging out.
Tosin, too much on the pass. Well, Brian Barry Murphy was in charge of elite development at Manchester City, a job he took over from Enzo Maresca. A brief overlap at Manchester City. That's lost by Cardiff, and a Champong going on the run forward. Shot blocked. Gittins. Back to a Champong.
Yeah, he looks good on the ball, doesn't he? Champong, highly rated at Chelsea.
Caicedo. Tosin. Buonanotte. Chelsea probing. George. Back to a Champong, who has scored for Chelsea this season. That was his first goal for the club in the Premier League. Nadia Schill. Gittins. Nadia Schill again. Some of the Chelsea centre-backs have come under criticism this season. Tosin. And a Champong. And he was caught by Davis that time, and Davis gets a booking, and of course Cardiff not happy because a Champong is a Champong's challenge on Davis a few minutes ago.
It was the pace really that did him there. It's an honest attempt at the ball. little unlucky. Certainly wasn't a cynical one to bring him down.
Wintle. So that will be a free kick again. Often one of the things that lower league players say when they face Premier League sides is the decision-making, the speed of the decision-making. Sometimes in those duels there, find a good marker how quickly Chelsea will get to the ball before the Cardiff players.
Yeah. I mean, it's a second-string Chelsea team, but the Cardiff lads will be well aware of the technical ability as much as anything of these Chelsea boys.
It's a good second string when you can bring in a £100 million player into your midfield. Of course, Caicedo coming back from that ban. Guiu coming back from an offside position. There was a thought about whether Maresca would start Caicedo tonight, with Chelsea playing in Newcastle next in the Premier League. Of course, Enzo Fernandez rested. Well, he is on the bench tonight, the Argentinian. Whether he comes off the bench or not, I suppose will depend on how well Chelsea are doing in this game. Champon getting there first. George back. Here's Robinson. Robinson has Turnbull in support. Here's the Scot to Robinson, Ireland international. Robinson to whip that ball in. Tosin got there, and there's Caicedo to Buonanotte. To George. Chelsea do have a team can be effective on the counter as well, although Turnbull won't let George turn.
Yeah, they've got to keep up that kind of closing down intensity all night, Cardiff.
Maybe force an error in that Chelsea backline. Jorgensen and Guiu is having his shirt pulled. I don't think he was going to get there anyway.
Yeah, curious pass that was from the keeper.
G. And cross comes Caicedo. Oh, he's smelling the danger. Lawler. To Chambers when he was coming through as a player at Southampton, sort of as a player very good on the ball as well. There's Turnbull, and that's lost. Santos helping Chelsea to win it back. Buonanotte, and he wasn't caught, so the referee probably feels like he's gone down easily there, but why would he in that position? Here's George. George just sent it in over the head of Guiu. And G didn't quite get hold of that clearance. Champon. George. Just Champon again. Caicedo. Tosin. He gives it away. Davis, though, has to take it off the toes of a Champon. There's a calmness about him, the young defender for Chelsea, but hustling and harrying there, Cardiff.
Yeah, he's fired up, isn't he, Davies? I thought he was a foul on Buonanotte, actually, still having a word with the ref. Yeah, just clipped him.
This is a Chelsea side with 3 teenagers in it, both full-backs, as well as Tyreek George. In fact, 4, I should say, because Mark Guiu will turn 20 in January. Lawler. All just loose from the centre-back, and Buonanotte and George, and the block. Getting back to make that challenge is important. from Bagan.
You do wonder if or when they're going to get caught playing out from the keeper here, and it was Lawler who just made the mistake. Chelsea swarming all over him. It's good retrieval though, good block.
See bits of that quality from Chelsea starting to creep in. George, and goes Chambers, and he gets the throw in. Callum Chambers, only 30. A player who missed out really for Arsenal in their 3 FA Cup wins during his time at the club. Wasn't involved in those sides, but was with the club at the time. Trot.
He has hit it long, Trot, and they did get onto the second ball, but mostly it's this kind of tactic.
It's a nice clip pass though. Megan playing it over the top, and they're in here, Cardiff! Oh, just wide. It was Davis running through. The opportunity there.
Yeah, just a bit hurried, I think. It would have been a good assist of sorts, this, but it's a lovely clip ball over the top by Bagan, and he's away. At this point, you've just got to get your feet sorted out and try and get that shot on target. It's getting closed down quickly, and that forces the snatch shot on the stretch.
Actually went out for a throw-in. When you say somebody snatched at a chance, that's probably one of the best examples you can see. Fortunately for Isaac Davis.
Oh, it's been heavily involved though.
Lawler gets there before Guiu. Comes to George. Tosin. Caicedo pops it to a Champong. Cardiff felt there was a handball. And Tony Harrington not interested. So Guiu plays it to Buonanotte. George. Inside to Caicedo. Arto to Gittins. Badia Schill. Making that run ahead of Gittins. Tosin. Caicedo. Well, it's quite clear we have two sides who want to be on the ball, keep their passing short if they can.
It's not immediately obvious which one is the Premier League team and which is the League One side. Big compliment to Cardiff so far.
It is obvious. It is obvious that they've both been coached by managers. They've had some influence in Manchester City.
Yeah, not much to split the sides so far.
Jorgensen. Cardiff not interested in putting pressure on the goalkeeper, so he'll go long. Finds Arto. Tosin. Buonanotte trying to move that ball on quickly to Guiu. Badia Schill. Tosin just got it away from Robinson. A Champong. George. It's about when Cardiff trigger that press.
Yeah, they're doing it well. They really are.
If they watched recent Chelsea matches, maybe that's why they're looking at Tosin, who did make an error under pressure against Leeds United, or just a Champong and Hato being younger players in that back line. A Champong, but he is composed on the ball. Tres Santos. Buenanotte. Davis trying to take on a Champong, who gets it back again, and he's the player who's had the most touches of the ball so far, the young Chelsea full-back tonight.
Yeah, good battle out that far side there between Davis and Champong.
Well, the referee did not like the challenge from Chambers on Guiu.
Yeah, they've been really tight and aggressive on Guiu, whether it's Lawler or Chambers.
So another booking, 2 in the first 26 minutes for the home side. Now, referee happy to play advantage here for Chelsea. Gittins. He's got the full-back here isolated. Still Gittins. But he got the help in the end and was able to make the challenge. Who was formerly at Crewe, several seasons now at Cardiff, basically a season after they were relegated from the Premier League the last time round, 2019. Ashford.
Oh, lovely feet.
And it does nicely. And so, well, they're baying for a yellow card here. Considering the space for Ashford after he got round Buenanotte.
Yeah, you can understand the frustration, definitely. I just don't think he could put the brakes on quickly enough here, Buenanotte.
Those sort of situations do is fire up the crowd even more. Trot. G can't get round Hato. Buenanotte. Bagan. Davis. Chambers. To find Robinson. Turn ball, too strong for Santos. And so far in this first half an hour, not much between these two teams.
No, it's a heck of a battle out there at the moment. Loads of challenges piling in.
I remember doing a game early this season where Nottingham Forest went to Swansea, and Forest basically made a raft of changes and started the game well, but Swansea came back to win that game. And I mentioned that as maybe a trigger for Cardiff tonight. Swansea can do it, Cardiff will certainly believe they can do it. As the flag goes up. Should I be telling people around here that I've been to Swansea this season?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. I think Cardiff knocked Wrexham out of this competition in the previous round, which was actually seen as, when you think about it, a shock. A League One side facing a Championship side at the time.
Yeah, and beaten a Premier League team, haven't they? Away in Burnley, Cardiff, so they've earned their place here, all right, and they're not disappointing.
Chelsea, they entered the competition, had a scare against Lincoln, a side who are trying to chase Cardiff down at the moment in League One. Here's Guiu. Badiashile. Hato. Caicedo. To slide it through to Guiu. And he had the space for a shot, but Trot saw it.
Yeah, a bit of quality from Caicedo to get his team on the front foot here. It's not been easy for Guiu so far, but he gets plenty behind this, and Trott's just going to make sure he doesn't get nutmegged here. So easily can happen, but adjusts his feet well, and the rebound is favourable.
And their first shot on target in this game. Few slightly hesitant on that occasion. Player scored once for Chelsea this season. This is his 9th appearance. As I said, he did feature for Sunderland in this competition back in August. And it's the fact that match took place in August because of a rule change for this season that enables him to play for Chelsea tonight, because I think the idea is that players are going to move clubs in that month. But the twist on that is that Kellyman unable to play for Cardiff tonight. It's a Chelsea loanee. Cardiff did ask. Hutton. Santos. Across to Champong. George ran into trouble. And Davis, who's worked so hard so far. 3 shots to get round. He was asking a lot. Funny enough, if he had got the pass away there, Alan, there were options inside. Badiashile. Gittins. A dummy from Buonanotte. A tricky one to try in a team changed as much as this. Ashford. Ito gives it away. G. Wintle. Lawler. Chambers. So in these sort of areas, what will Cardiff look to come up with here? Crossing position, perhaps.
Yeah, most of their attacks have come down the left, haven't they? Cardiff's not too much via Key and Ashford on the right so far.
So Lawler, the centre-back, the furthest back for Cardiff, in the centre circle at the moment. They are quite high up the pitch, though, in this sort of situation. Can they make it count? Oh, I thought it might sneak in at the near post. Jorgensen, they got there in the end, but Davis with another opportunity.
No, it's poor defending, first of all, getting through that challenge. And then the little deflection does make it difficult for Jorgensen. Does well, the keeper.
Pretty good save. So Cardiff corner. Lawler and Chambers forward. Wintle, Colwell in there as well. In goes the corner. It's headed away. G didn't help it back in cleanly. So it's going to be Bagan to start again. He'll look for the switch across to Ashford. Ashford trying to get that ball inside to Colwell. Now Gittins, he was crowded out, and Cardiff don't get the decision going their way. It's Badiashile. Champong. George. Santos. Passed it. Buonanotte wasn't even facing the ball, wasn't even looking at him, wasn't expecting that pass into his path. Wintle. Chambers. Roller into Robinson. Doesn't get the free kick, so Caicedo to bring it away. George, across it goes.
Yeah, that one a little overhit. He had the earlier one that was decent. And the wingers haven't been able to provide too much so far for Chelsea. He certainly has, though. He's been lively, seen plenty of the ball. Davis, that's where the biggest threats come from, on that left.
Wales international. A Champong, strong run, strong challenge, and Bagan, having made the challenge, is surging forward. And he'll get there before Caicedo. No, of course he won't. Caicedo, always quick to get to the challenges, but he did enough there, Bagan, to force the throw-in. I think as he was running away there, Bagan, he was hoping the one man not chasing him was Caicedo.
Yeah, it's like a dog with a bone, isn't he? He's not going to let him go.
It's Trot. Chambers. Bacon, another dangerous pass through to Davis. He's worked out the way he can hurt Chelsea with those passes, Bacon. Very close.
Well, if any Cardiff player was feeling a little bit intimidated or overawed at the start, I don't think they will be now. There's plenty of good moments.
Jorgensen, he's asking again to be pressed. It's not going to happen. Otto getting there first. Nice touch from Colwell. Ashford. Colwell wants it in the channel, but he never got it. Would have been a promising position for Cardiff. Instead, they have to defend now.
Yeah, he'd ran off Caicedo there.
Harton. Caicedo. A Champong. George. Caicedo tries to sweep it out to Gittins, and he does it nicely. And Gittins now, could he come up with this sort of situation? Almost ran out of ideas there, Gittins.
Trying to poke one through to Guiu there.
And once again, Ashford. As I say, those Cardiff players are taking up some good positions on the attacks, just being stopped by cover of Caicedo.
Well, his team's got a good shape about them, haven't they? They look comfortable in that shape. And compact too.
Was a first-team coach at Leicester under Ruud van Nistelrooy, which obviously was after Maresca was Leicester coach. Oh, and gee, had to get there. Straight enough, actually, I think Gittins was expecting him to cut it out, so he wasn't running all the way through. Trot. His passing's been pretty good so far. Just eased off it there, Robinson.
Those centre-halves for Chelsea have got the height advantage, that's for certain.
Badiashile. Tosin. Foot in from Chambers. Dare I say it's a bit chess-like, this one so far, because they're almost playing in similar fashions, and the best chance, perhaps, what's turned out to be a pretty good save from Jorgensen.
Yeah, and this kind of deflection, you go in one way and you have to spring off the foot to go the other way pretty quickly. He does a good job, Jorgensen.
If it had gone in, it would have counted. No VAR at this stage. So that handball, as it was spotted on field, is Guiu. Otto inside. Gittins on the surge, but they're dealing with Gittins well so far. A Champong. George. Santos inside. Buonanotte. Champong just ran away from him.
Yeah, look, he's been one of Chelsea's more accomplished players, though. Him and Caicedo, I think, have been their best so far.
Well, this is the first of the 4 quarter-finals. 2 more tomorrow night. Manchester City host Brentford. Of course, the rest of these ties, all Premier League ones. And then Newcastle at St James's Park facing Fulham. And then Arsenal against Crystal Palace, not taking place this week. It will take place next week because of fixture congestion. 8 PM for that one on Sky Sports Football. Chambers. Slide it through, and Davis again. He's the man with the chances so far for Cardiff, and there was another opening. Buonanotte loses it, and no foul. Turnbull moving it on. Ashford drops the shoulder, but then can't make use of the ball.
No, unlucky. We've picked him out beforehand, but he's not been able to find any rhythm, not really been able to get involved in the game so far.
The best season of his career last time out. His 31 appearances, 3 goals and 3 assists for Cardiff. Relegation from the Championship. A young player, only turned 21 in September. Jorgensen. Just wonder, he's asking to be pressed. Maybe Cardiff might think about it. Gittins gives it away, but then it's lost by Wintle. Caicedo. Tosin. And Trott comes out. Puts his foot through it. Well, what we've seen so far, it's given a strong impression of a match that gives Cardiff a great chance of doing something. But Chelsea do have the ability to change things quickly. Wintle. Urged to play that ball forward quickly. Ng. Lawler. Wintle. Oh, just checked off the ball. Ashford trying to slide it through. Wintle. Lawler has to be careful. Caicedo goes in. And they were actually quite fortunate. Oh, that's a loose pass from Badiashile. Turnbull shot! And it's wide. Well, Cardiff will believe they can force those errors from Chelsea at the back.
Well, it's been a really good half of football by Cardiff, but you just feel they've got to push home this period of good play whilst Chelsea are not at it, and they're not at it. And of course, Maresca's got plenty of big guns on the bench to change things. And if it carries on like this, you think he will.
There's a loose pass from Badiashile and then a loose one from Caicedo. And a free kick to Cardiff. Lacking fluency, Chelsea. Can Cardiff capitalise? And the ironic cheers for the sarcastic applause.
No, he certainly didn't get the ball.
And the yellow card for Caicedo.
That's a waste, isn't it? A lack of discipline, that, from Caicedo.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 1 minute running time, even in 1 minute.
While Caicedo sarcastically clapping, applauding the referee who has booked him for it. Bagan to swing it in, and numbers at the back post, and Jorgensen holds on to it. Well, Chambers found some room. And G on the turn.
Well, that Chelsea front three has been ineffective, disappointing. Wouldn't be surprised to see it change.
Well, Cardiff have given everything in this first half to try and find a breakthrough against an underwhelming Chelsea, much changed Chelsea side, and Isaac Davis with a couple of opportunities. Jorgensen had to make a save from his deflected shot. It did well in the end. Guillou with a decent chance for Chelsea, but that's about as good as it's got for the Premier League side. So interesting cup tie as far as the shock is concerned. Half-time, Cardiff 0, Chelsea 0.
nesta.
Yes, so it is Tyreek George and Mark Guiu who make way for Garnacho, and João Pedro making his first appearance in the competition this season. In fact, he didn't play in it last season for Brighton either. But we thought Chelsea might turn to their strong bench, considering how that first half went, Alan.
Yeah, Guiu found it difficult through the middle, and both Gittins and Tyreek George found it hard. Gittins now moving across to the right-hand side, it looks like, so we'll be hoping for better luck there. But Maresco will be hoping that these two can make the difference.
Was João Pedro on, and Garnacho, the other man to enter the action. He did play nearly an hour against Lincoln back in September. That's his only appearance so far. Neither of these players featured in the match against Wolves in the previous rounds. And Cardiff back out with no changes at half-time. Well, why would they change? When you watched that first half, it was difficult to tell who was the Premier League side. What about the second half?
Yeah, just more of the same, I'm sure, from Barry Murphy. He would have been proud of his players in that first 45, but it's difficult to sustain it.
Especially when Chelsea are able to bring on a talent they can. And Garnacho, the man.
I don't like him.
Oh, Manchester United passed. Jorgensen, an important player for Chelsea in that first half with that save that he made after the deflection. And G just rescues the situation. Here's Colwell. The shove of Caicedo, who is on that booking from the first half after returning from suspension. Bagan. Turnbull. João Pedro, one of those to come off for Chelsea at half-time. Wintle. Trot. And despite the pressure, they're still prepared to play out. And then Lawler finds Colwell.
Yeah, these Cardiff fans have had to get used to this. It didn't happen to the same extent previously to this manager. A little bit nervy at times.
Maybe the step up in the pressure on the ball. But it would have been music to Barry Murphy's ear, really, to hear that Chelsea made 11 changes, because even, you can get it aside in terms of their structure and fluency, considering that number of alterations. They know they're going to face a quality side, whatever happens.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely given Cardiff more of a chance.
Tosin, that pass was a poor one. And G can look for Robinson. Cross comes to Champong. Not totally settled at the back, Chelsea. Badiashile. He just plays that ball into the centre, and João Pedro, fortunately for Badiashile on that occasion, looking after the ball well. Tosin to Buenanotte, he leaves the ball behind. Andre Santos fouls his man. It's a bit sloppy from Chelsea. But Maresca, he was forced to make those changes really at half-time, was not happy with how the first half went. Bagan. Across to Ashford. Wintle. NG, Ashford again making those runs into the channel, along with Colwill. Ryan Wintle again. His contract actually expires in the summer. Chambers. Bagan. Like to play that ball to try and get it behind a Champong. And as you mentioned in the first half, Alan, that has been an area of joy for Cardiff thus far. Trying to attack down the left-hand side. Caicedo. Badiashile. Into Hato. Caicedo. Toss into a Champong. And once again, no time on the ball, and Davis. Turnbull. Davis. First chance for Inter on in the second half. Wintle urged to shoot, wasn't really the position to do so with the players in front of him. Ashford playing it back, Wintle to send it in again. Calmly cleared away by Badiashile. And João Pedro will chase this with Lawler. And Lawler, nicely done in the end.
Very nicely done, but they've started in a similar vein here, Cardiff. Really good beginning to the second half. Setting the tempo once more.
Cardiff aside, 4 points clear at the top of League One. Stand outside in that division this season, a side set for an immediate return to the Championship. They're showing why here. Ashford whips it in, and Jorgensen holds. As I mentioned in the first half, Chelsea already tested by a League One side this season in Lincoln, who took the lead in that game. Chelsea had to come from behind to turn that one around, and so far finding Cardiff a tricky prospect, but without the home side finding that breakthrough so far. Jorgensen. Wintle. Hatter. Badiashile. Could be an argument to say here that Chelsea might look to soak up a bit of Cardiff pressure and hit them on the break. Nice touch from João Pedro to Buonanotte. This is going to be Chelsea hitting Cardiff on the break. Buonanotte's pass, so he couldn't find Garnacho.
Well, that was a wasted opportunity. Simple enough pass, that.
But there's Caicedo to get Chelsea going again. Gittins. Gittins to pull it back. Caicedo. Shot blocked by Wintle. A Champong. Gittins operating on this right-hand side in his second half. Gittins. Telegraphed the shot really for Bagan in the end.
Yeah, Caicedo's trying to lead by example, lead from the front. He's one of the few that have done themselves justice out there for Chelsea so far. Their fans urging him on. The Chelsea fans.
I mentioned Lincoln, and they are Cardiff's next opponents in League One. João Pedro. Again, dealt with Wintle tracking back.
They've done really well, Cardiff in the middle of the park. Wintle, Turnbull, Colwell really fought for it, denied Chelsea any time.
It's a sort of evening you're not going to get much sympathy in João Pedro's case. Although taking a chance, Chambers on a centre-back, so Buonanotte can sweep it through, and Trott with his first big save of the second half. It was Garnacho stealing in, and the space was there.
Yeah. A relief man, Callum Chambers. Trying a little drag back, he's up against two players. This is a really lovely ball in. Just trying to sweep it in. And Trott comes to Chambers' rescue with a smart stop.
Now a corner to defend here is Buonanotte, clips it in, up goes Caicedo, and then Robinson clears it. And that's cleared forward. Now who will this break for? The bounce favoured Caicedo, but there's Robinson to win it. And then Buonanotte, too strong for Turnbull. Well, Cardiff are going to turn to their bench, and we are going to see Salek shortly. The man who's been scoring the goals this season.
Oh, clearly, Brian Barry Murphy, the manager, sees an opportunity here. I think we can all see one in this stadium. Chelsea coming back now.
Garnacho. Garnacho, the pass inside, lovely touch from João Pedro. The block comes in. Gittins. Pressure from Chelsea. Santos. Gittins. Gittins checks. And then the clearance from Bagan hit his own player. Will be a corner.
Yeah, you can just see the extra urgency within the Chelsea lads now. Substitutions have made a difference.
Oh, and Cardiff doing the unspoken rule here, making a change at a defensive corner. But he feels he needs to make these changes quickly. So Robinson going off his strong pass against Chelsea. He's not able to repeat it tonight, Callum Robinson. Didn't get too much service in the end. But it will be Youssouf Salek, striker who stood out this season for Cardiff. And also Chris Willock to replace Davies, who's probably emptied the tank in his first 55 minutes.
Yeah, run himself into the ground. Quick, aggressive, threatening, and really well.
That's what Salek will hope to add to this side. 10 goals this season in League One. Gittins. Otto trying to slide it through, and then Caicedo falling on the ball. Garnacho with the shot blocked. Getting the numbers behind the ball. Jorgensen. And he was hurried.
Harto just played the man then. He took no notice of the ball whatsoever.
The best spell of pressure from Chelsea of the match so far. Oh, loose pass from Lawler. And a mistake that could be punished here by Chelsea. Garnacho in. Garnacho to score. And the substitutes capitalising on an error from Cardiff's young centre-half.
You saw one or two mistakes creeping into the Cardiff side, almost as if there was a lack of concentration, which you wouldn't have expected, but Chelsea had become more threatening in this second half without question. There was more tempo, more urgency to the game, but this is a gift, an absolute present. They work it well, and it's a comfortable finish for Garnacho, an absolute gift. Having worked so hard, Cardiff, they present this to the Premier League team, and he's not going to turn it up.
hand for Buonanotte, laying that ball off. His first assist for Chelsea, and Garnacho, smile on his face. And the contrast of emotions, Lawler head in hands. The youngster, highly rated, expected to have a big future, recent Wales international as well. But football can be cruel. And it felt like a matter of time, one of the sides making an error in that fashion. Unfortunately for Cardiff, they are the ones, the way that both these sides are playing. He's not the first to make an error, but he's the first to be punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, in the main, defensively, they've been really solid. It hasn't really been a feature of their season so far. Even against Doncaster, they conceded a lot of chances, but out here, in the first 45, they were really compact.
Turnbull. Well, Cardiff heads no doubt would have dropped after that, but it doesn't, of course, mean that they can't respond. That will give Chelsea a bounce here. What would have been a tricky night for them up to then. Champon. But they'd had that spell just before the goal in any case.
Yeah, I mean, I said in the first half when Cardiff were threatening and looking the better side.
And another miss of the ball there for Cardiff. Garnacho and Joao Pedro. Mistakes costing Cardiff at the moment. Buonanotte! Oh, came so close. And Trott got something on that.
He did. But they've lost the shape, lost the composure at the moment, Cardiff, and Chelsea are throwing everything at them. Mistakes creeping in. This is a really good effort. And Trott gets a couple of fingers to it. They've just got to try and settle now, Cardiff. Chelsea smelling blood.
Gittins will take the corner short to Caicedo. Gittins, Santos. Well, they just went up a gear, Chelsea, the minutes before that goal was scored. And maybe that has also contributed to the errors from Cardiff.
Yeah, I mean, it was always a strong possibility, wasn't it? We said in the first half, the power from the bench was going to probably feature, and Cardiff had to take advantage of the spell in the first half when they looked the better side.
Of course, Barry Murphy would have was recognised that something needed to be changed. He got his subs on, but Turnbull, Willock, the three footballing Willock brothers. Fagan, Chambers, Willock. And now Fagan. Chambers. G inside Salek. Too strong for him though, Tosin, but if of course Cardiff go on to lose this game, people will look at the goal and suggest that way of playing. Is it wise for a side 2 divisions below a Premier League side to adopt that approach? But that's the way hindsight works.
Yeah, that's true. But he had plenty of time to pick his spot, didn't he? Just chose the wrong option.
Fagan. But from Dylan Lawler's point of view, if he is going to go on to big things in the game, it's going to be his ability on the ball that's going to play a big part in that. Shouldn't put him off. He has the ability, just didn't quite work on that occasion. And we've seen the Chelsea defenders do the same thing in this game. And then Willock loses it, ball swept through to Garnacho, and Trott just got there. Thought Garnacho might be quicker. Well, the Cardiff goalkeeper getting his foot in first.
Yeah, he did well, because he thought about it, then held off, and then made the challenge.
Wintle. Chambers. Willock. Willock to feed it in. Turnbull. It's a nice little pass from Chambers. Here's Willock. And he wins the corner, just to give the crowd a boost. And Trott, it's important he had to get there quickly.
And he had to do it right, didn't he? It looked like a penalty waiting to happen there as Garnacho bore down on him.
Margins. So Joel Bacon aiming for a delivery here. Could find the head of a man in blue against the Blues. Bacon, that's clever. Willock, loads of time to pick his corner. I think Chelsea allowing him that time there. Bacon. Referee just about getting out of the way. Turnbull. Bacon. That cross is a teaser. Jorgensen got something on it.
Did well, Jorgensen. They're trying to step it up now, though, Cardiff.
Oh, the goalkeeper going down.
Didn't seem to be a connection there. Maybe he's just trying to lower the temperature in this ground. A cynic might say.
Did get a bit of a clip. Had to be something for him to go down like that, Jorgensen. He did get clipped, I think. It looked like he's back to his feet. And Chelsea can call on more big players here. Pedro Neto, Malo Gusto. So Gittins goes off. Didn't get too much joy tonight, Jamie Gittins.
It's hard to compete against this, though, isn't it? The likes of Pedro Neto, who's done well for Chelsea.
Cardiff City supporters knew what they were up against tonight, the might of a Premier League club, able to bring on more talent. Buonanotte, who got the assist tonight?
He did, without having a particularly good game. Gittins disappointed as well.
So Malo Gusto, there's been talk about whether his future is going to be in midfield or not for Chelsea, but it's going to move into that central area at the moment. Carl Pedro. Wintle. Chambers. Chambers. And Lawler. Bacon. Willock.
Chelsea just keeping Cardiff at arm's length at the moment.
Ashford. With the overlap, Ashford, can he find room to play that pass in? Creating chances has been tricky for Cardiff in this second half. And penalised there, Colwell. Well, watching on tonight, the Wales manager, who has big Cardiff connections, of course, born in this city, ended his career playing for Cardiff. In fact, his last game for Cardiff was against Chelsea in 2014. And he's got a few players to watch tonight in the Cardiff side, one of whom is Dylan Lawler. the young centre-half, who I don't think that would have put Bellamy off that mistake, because he knows that Lawler is set to be a big player for Wales in their defence. Isaac Davies, Joel Colwill, recent players in his squad. And Ashford eligible as well. Tonight able to watch Ronan Capacchio, the young fullback, who's even younger than the players out there tonight. But he's suspended for this one.
Yeah, and Ashford has got a good relationship, hasn't he, with the right back. Maybe that's affected his game a little.
Yes, for yellow cards picked up in this competition. It does feel a bit unfair. That's what it is, though. It's deprived Chelsea of Cucurella tonight. Joao Pedro won't get there because Lawler's there first. Turnbull. Now Salek. He'll get there first. Can he be the man to make something happen here for Cardiff? Salek spotted the little ball, couldn't quite find it to Wintle. They've created the spare man. Chambers, midway through the second half, plenty of time left. And of course, if Cardiff can force an equaliser, game would go straight to penalties. No extra time in the League Cup. The stage of the competition, Wintle. Santos eased off it in the end. Lawler. Putting his foot on the ball confidently. Chambers. That is, of course, that lesson for any young player, that you could always put it right. He's looking to do that here, Lawler. Stepping forward, creating the option in defence. Lawler moving it on nicely. Willock. It's a sharp from Cardiff. Turnbull. Willock. And just running out of room in the edge.
A little better, though, for Cardiff. They've struggled to get behind Chelsea in this second half.
Hutton. Caicedo. You think in this game so far, 13 efforts on goal from Chelsea, most of those in the second half. 7 efforts on goal for Cardiff, 2 on target for them. Caicedo, good pass to Gusto, who'll get it back. And he's in, and he's just crowded out, and goodness me, Bagan. Thankful that the goal isn't wider.
Yeah, he scored at the weekend and nearly scored again here. Chelsea beginning to show us that they are a Premier League team, and Bagan very nearly helping them on their way.
Chelsea going to bring their captain on as well. Neto. Garnacho slips it inside as a nice little pass. Caicedo, and then Santos. Did it take a touch? It did. So if you're Cardiff here, just stay in touch. Chelsea put the pressure on.
Yeah. It's not easy. I think they're giving away a height advantage maybe to Chelsea as well in these situations.
Chelsea again going short with their corners. Carto. Pedro Neto pulling it back. Garnacho setting himself. Another touch on the way. I think it was Lawler blocking it.
Having to do so much more defending in this second half, Cardiff. Doing everything necessary.
So So Lawler, defensive work from the centre-back. Pedro Neto to take Chelsea's corner, no short corner this time. He'll just clip that one in towards the near post, flicked onto the back post and put behind by Colwell. So Chelsea to try again pushing Cardiff back, the sequence of corners. There's that ball clipped over the top now, wing it just not quite for Garnacho, but the changes starting to really make a difference here for Chelsea. You can feel that.
Yeah, but the fact that Cardiff have competed so well against Premier League opposition is only going to help their League One campaign, I think. Give them even more belief.
Absolutely. Set them in good stead. They do get promoted. Ashford. Still not out of this though, of course. Colwell. Can they find Salek? In that penalty area, create a chance for him. Salek's in there, tumbles in there! The Bluebirds bite back! Deserved equaliser on the night for the League One side. Fighting back against the top flight.
I don't think anybody saw that coming in this stadium. I don't think the Cardiff fans did, because they've had precious few chances to get forward, never mind create chances. This is a lovely ball in, and Turnbull times his run from deep perfectly. Having said that, he's still got a lot to do, an awful lot to do with that header, and he tucks it away beautifully, the midfielder. He's been part of a department in the middle of the park that's worked so hard, but when they needed a bit of quality in the opposition's box, it's him that provides it. And game on once more.
Just his second goal for Cardiff, his first in the League Cup. And the Scots equalising in this cup tie. And a reminder again, a draw is enough for penalties with no extra time. In the 90 minutes. So Chelsea, after threatening to find a second to take the game away from Cardiff, well, the Welsh side showing some fire here. Ashford inside. And will Chelsea wobble from this position? Lawler. Wintle.
Well, it only seemed to be heading one way, this contest, but that's football for you. And these fans went wild when Turnbull took that in.
You also have to think of Lawler put in some good interventions, a big block as well after giving the ball away. Well, those moments, when you think about it, are just as important. Keeping Cardiff in this game and putting them in a position to find an equaliser. Cleared forward by Caicedo. And you hear the roar from the Cardiff supporters as Lawler cut that one out. Here's Trott. Winsall. Oh, he's given it to Pedro Neto. And Trott. Well, the referee here is just going to stop the game because Trott going down, but I think also Trott had to be careful not to give away a penalty.
Well, they've been their own worst enemies, Cardiff, in this match. They really have. Brave save by Trott. Diving in amongst flying boots. That's the life of a goalkeeper.
They're putting that arm out to make the save, to stop it from reaching João Pedro, but also knowing that he could have caught João Pedro as well. Some treatment here. And you think of that first half, not much between the sides. Then Chelsea scoring and looking like they were going to apply even more pressure, but then this happened.
Yeah, I mean, the timing of the run from the cross was absolutely perfect, and that is a beautiful angle of the header. Really good from Turnbull.
And the joy of making sure that right now, as it stands, they stand a big chance of what would be a big semi-final for the Bluebirds. In 2012, they reached the League Cup final to lose on penalties to Liverpool. And in reaching the quarter-finals here, that's the furthest they've been in the competition since that day against Liverpool. And Enzo Maresca, knowing that he's had a couple of semi-finals with Chelsea, one, of course, leading to winning the FIFA Club World Cup. And to think Chelsea, as they bring on Alex Robertson to Cardiff to replace Joel Colwill.
Yeah, he's done well, Colwill. He really has, in that advanced position in midfield. Got through a lot of work, covered a lot of ground.
His brother Ruben not able to be involved in this one due to injury. In Cardiff, a few players injured. Eli King, who picked up a knee injury. And this season, Osho and Tanner, other players unavailable. In fact, in this competition, the fact they're able to name 9 on the bench means they have named a 15-year-old in their squad for this one as well. Axel Donchev. Salek. Ashford. Cardiff smelling a shock here. Robertson has just come on. Oh, the goalkeeper had to have a second bite.
Oh, what a great ending to this match. Looked for all the world like Chelsea were going to get the second.
They still have time to get a second. Garnacho. Good volume in this stadium. Chelsea looking to silence it by shifting the ball on. Santos moving it. Pedro Neto! That sliced its way through to break Cardiff hearts. And Chelsea restore their advantage through another of their strong substitutes.
Yeah, just a bit of quality from Pedro Neto. He's been a really good signing for Chelsea. Consistent whenever called upon, and this was just a clean strike. A little bit of swerve on it as well. Through the legs, and he gets a clip off the defender, doesn't it, off Bagan, which makes life even harder for Trott in goal. right in the corner after that deflection.
And he made sure that the Chelsea fans knew that he was here to save the day. Pedro Neto, 5 goals in the Premier League this season. And he adds to that in the League Cup. So Cardiff have to do it again. Here's Willock. It's cleared away. Turnbull again. Turnbull again! And that certainly hit the woodwork, it looked like, on the way through.
Now, sometimes when you hit them like that and drill it into the ground, it can just loop over a goalie. Threatened to for a second.
Just over in the end. Thought it might dip. So a Champong is coming off, and Chalobah down there to replace him at the back. So they're going to make this a back three. They're just going to put Chalobah right back here. Just to bring on a more senior defender, perhaps, just as Robertson. Garnacho. Hato trying to roll his man on that occasion. Well, they scored once, Cardiff. Can they do it again? Salek can't hold on to it. Jorgensen sending it long. João Pedro. Augusto. Chalobah to Pedro Neto, who, as it stands, will be the match winner for Chelsea. Send them through to the semi-finals. First side to book their place.
Well, it's been a classic cup tie, hasn't it? The gap in the two teams in terms of league positions has been pretty much closed for most of this match.
It's shown from the tactical approach when you look at that, the chances created. Just that extra quality that Chelsea are able to add. Here's Willock. Turnbull to bend it in, looking for Salek. Lawler. Caicedo. Pedro Neto. Chelsea need to finish Cardiff off late on here. Garnacho. Step over, the pullback, João Pedro. And that's blocked. He's claiming handball. He's not going to get it. And there's no VAR to check as well. Sometimes I wonder actually if the players are aware whether VAR's in operation or not.
Yeah, I think the Chelsea players will naturally think that it is.
This is sensible from Chelsea. Pedro Neto. Turnbull. Chambers. Lawler. Well, the good news is his error doesn't look to be the decisive one in the game. Pedro Neto scoring that goal to put Chelsea back in front. Turnbull. Tackled by Caicedo. And it's Chambers to go back to trot. You just need that one opportunity if you're Cardiff City at this moment in time. Cardiff are set to make an additional substitution, which will add to the Additional time is set to see as well. Will Fish is going to come on the defender. Caicedo. Willock does get there. Willock.
He's done well since coming on. Willock added something.
All the Cardiff players have shown themselves to be tidy on the ball. Enterprise in this game, trying to showcase their style of football. You can see why they're the side leading the way in the third tier. And also you can see why it can be a little trickier when you make that step up.
Yeah, well, they do give the opposition a chance with the way that they play.
Well, off comes the fullback, Perry and G. Perry Young makes his way off. And Will Fish, I think he's telling Lawler he's going to go to right back. Fish will be at centre half. '90th minute. The Chelsea supporters in full voice late on. I know they've had a bit of a scare, but they're close to that semi-final. The competition, they've reached many a semi-final. Jorgensen. Hasn't had to use Enzo Fernandez or Reece James tonight. Either two players certainly who deserve a rest. Ashford. 6 minutes. More here. Can Cardiff equalise again? Waller getting forward. He's playing in that right back role now. His first chance to get forward in that new position. And then Gusto just hacks it forward.
Well, have they got a last chance in them, Cardiff here?
Willock. He's got the run on Chalobah here, Willock. Delivery, not bad. Spagan. Tees up as well. Ashford goes down. Referee waves away.
Yeah, had a good view of it as well, the ref.
Free kick, Chelsea, to relieve a little bit of pressure applied by Cardiff late on here.
Everyone holding the breath. It's a good challenge from Santos. It's a good call from the ref.
I should say Tony Harrington steering straight at it. He's also pointing out that he is allowing for this time it's taken. Hartu not sprinting over to get that ball back. Why would he? Chelsea to make sure they just get over the line here.
Yeah, they've been pushed hard, haven't they? And they've got a big challenge coming up at lunchtime on Saturday up at Newcastle, and there'll be plenty of changes to this starting 11, of course.
João Pedro, he's got the run on Fish. He has! But he couldn't make sure of that semi-final place for sure. So, probably another 5 more minutes from here. Brought Will Fish on. Additional centre-half to send forward, hoping that one set piece might do it after all the possession football. Bacon. Trot. Santos helping it on. João Pedro just helping on to Garnacho, and that'll do for Chelsea. It will be a semi-final place for the Blues. who just have that little bit more quality in the end than the Bluebirds.
Well, a game like this can really work wonders for somebody like Garnacho, who's still really waiting for his Chelsea career to take off, but a brace here could do wonders for him. Right at the death, some tired legs and minds, and he takes advantage. A couple of tidy finishes from him.
A match that at times looked pretty awkward for Chelsea, but Enzo Maresca able to call upon some big talents from his bench, and Garnacho in this second half has helped himself to a couple, and this is too much now for Cardiff with the time remaining and the quality they're facing.
He can't have any regrets though, the way his players have competed. You come into a game like this, and as a manager I think you do wonder how they will fare against Premier League opposition of this standard, but they've done ever so well, the Cardiff lads.
There'll be a lot of pride in the performance. Cardiff showing that their style can certainly ruffle a few feathers when it comes to top flight sides, but just that period after they got themselves to 1-1, Chelsea were able to go up another gear. They dared to dream for a moment when Turnbull scored that equaliser. He's the one to take this free kick. And Turnbull to hang it in there. Jorgensen comes, but enough on it to get it out of the penalty area. Ashford. Chelsea have a player down, holding his head in the box. And you think Jorgensen now will point out to the referee?
Yeah, I don't know whether it was Jorgensen caught his man.
Grimace. That is Shill. Well, Cardiff were flying the flags for the EFL.
As far as Chelsea are concerned, though, I think a wasted opportunity for some of those fringe players. Think of Buonanotte and Gittins. Tyrick George, just a young lad, but none of them would have caught the manager's eye.
So we played the 6 minutes of added time. Should be a few seconds more, although you'd fancy the referee will just bring this one to an end. So Chelsea, the first side to seal their place in the semi-finals. They didn't have it all their own way. Cardiff showed their style for a lot of the game, but this mistake from Lawler allowed Garnacho to open the scoring for Chelsea. The first of his 2 goals. Although Turnbull did find an equaliser, they had Cardiff dreaming of at least trying to get through on penalties at one point, but again Chelsea responding through Pedro Neto before Garnacho adding that third near the end, and Chelsea in the end with a scoreline that looks comfortable on a night though that was far from comfortable at times. But the Premier League side overcome the League One leaders as the last side from outside the Premier League is eliminated from the competition. Enzo Maresca, a lot more to smile about in the last 2 games at least for him. A happier week, you would say, for the Chelsea manager now. But the Blues through after beating the Bluebirds. A final score in Cardiff is Cardiff 1, Chelsea 3.